What's going on, guys? BLAZIN here, and welcome back to another episode of the Knights of Teleria. Hope you guys have been having a wonderful week, and thank you again for joining us. Now, today, we've got a very special show lined up, and we actually have a new guest on the show, and we're going to start with him out first. We've got the one, the only, Mr. BS. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Guys, if you don't know, Mr. BS streams over on Twitch. So make sure you guys go over and follow him there and, show him some love. Next up, we got Mr. Gestal Gaming coming in hot second place off the Spooktober Challenge. We got to talk about that one-on-one with, what happened there. But how are you doing, man? It's doing good. It's doing good. It's just about over. We get to start our week over again, right? And then I'm hoping, there we go, he's off death. So we've got Nacho, who's going to be streaming the show for us over on Twitch. I'm still trying to work a lot of the technical difficulties of trying to multi-stream on multiple platforms for you guys. But Nacho, how are you doing, sir? Right. Okay, so I think we probably just I might have just had a little bit of a technical issue here coming in through the wrong headsets. So let's reintroduce everybody again, just for everybody to get to show you, just for everybody to know who we're talking about. We got Mr. BS up on the top left hand side, right up there. We've got NachoPlays 50 right underneath them, and Gestal Gaming. Sorry for the intro, guys. It just kind of trying to set up a lot of things over for Twitch and stuff. So, all right. So we've had a really fun and interesting week, and I asked you guys to come up with some stuff for this week's show, right? And first things first, we've got the creator question of the week, which is going to be, what is your favorite holiday, and has it always been the same since you were a child? Let's go ahead and start off with our newcomer, Mr. BS.
So my favorite childhood holiday would be probably like Christmas.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know. I just always enjoyed Christmas, and that's the time when it's more than just it was just family and stuff. Actually,
Okay. Is it still your favorite holiday?
I'd say so.
Okay. Okay.
Most likely, yeah.
All right. Let's go with Nacho. Nacho, what about you? What's your favorite holiday, man? I know it
Let's
should
go.
be Valentine's Day, but
No, it's actually Thanksgiving. My family's a pretty big family, so we always like to get together and things like that. So it's always been a good one. And then one of the few holidays that I've hosted myself, other than like we've done friendsgiving and stuff like that at my house, because a lot of my friends that I grew up with don't have two parents, or their parents are families all everywhere. So I've done that a couple times. So definitely go Thanksgiving.
and you do turkey, I think, because I asked you last time which one you do, right?
I do ham, man.
You do ham? Oh, you've never tried a deep fried turkey, have you?
Yes, I have. They're okay.
Ah,
They're okay. The
okay.
problem is like actually deep frying it. It's a lot of effort. Like as opposed
I,
to just putting a ham in the oven or something. I don't know.
I,
Everybody does turkey, so good for ham.
I'm not gonna lie. I have one of those butterball deep fryers, and I'll share the story next time. Uh, Maybe closer to Thanksgiving, but I actually technically almost ruined Thanksgiving for the first year we tried deep frying a turkey. But yeah, that'll be a story we'll have to change next share next time. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, for sure, it was Christmas. I mean, what's better than getting a bunch of gifts? And when you're believing in Santa too, it's kind of cool. It's when you still believe in that.
Wait,
I would have to say now though, it's probably Thanksgiving. Honestly, I mean, what's better than eating a ton of food and watching football all day?
do you
Sounds
mean
like
to
a
tell me?
perfect day to me, man.
Do you mean to tell me Santa's not real?
Oh, sorry. Spoiler alert.
What?
Did you know this?
Are you telling me Santa's not real?
Oh, I know.
So for myself, my favorite holiday has always been Halloween, and it's always been because you get to pretend to be somebody else, right? And so for just that one day out of the year, I get to dress up as whatever I feel like, and kind of show off whatever costumes we can. But I've always loved Halloween, especially because you get candy. You go around, you telling people, "Give me candy." And it's probably one of the only times you could tell adults what to do as a child. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your week. What have you been up to this week? Have you pulled anything good over this 2X? Let's start with Gestal first.
I did on my main account. I pulled a 4th War Mother. I was very excited about that. About to be able to +4 her. But my free-to-play account, I actually got a Mishinaki, and that was big time. I think that's gonna amp that account up a lot. Like I probably will be able to one-shot Hydra hard now with Mishinaki. So, and I might even be able to dabble into Spider hard with him. After the Spooktober event, I realized how strong he is in spiders, so I might be able to work my way up into that a bit. So that was cool. That was a good pull.
Nice. Yeah, I was actually watching you when you pulled that out, and I was sitting there editing out a video, and I saw you pull the Mishinaki, and I jumped out of my seat, and I was like, "What?" It was like I was pulling him. I was like, "That's insane." Especially for a free to play early account like that. That's huge.
It's big time. That's a big time pull for that account.
That's huge. Mr. BS, how was your week, Ben? Did you pull anything good?
I pulled a 3rd Tura.
Okay. You're gonna +2?
But no, right now no, because if I'm trying to pull a 4th one so I can +2 a Lysandra or something else.
Okay.
Like
Save for your Faction Guardians.
my Faction Guards is full for that one and Dark Elves.
So you're just gonna hold on to it?
Yeah. I'm trying to replace the Lysandra out of there so I can +1 her at least. Start plussing her.
Okay.
So I have dupes of her.
All right.
But the weekend of the Voids, that's the week I had the best week.
It seems like the last Voids, 2X Voids, was actually really good for a lot of people.
I pulled 4 Void Legos on that week. And I pulled a Marishka.
Nice. Do you have a Taras or no?
No. My account's full of nukers, so
the game changes when you get those.
But do you have a Duchess?
Nope.
Well, your account's trash.
It's so trash.
All right. Mr. Nacho, what have you been up to this week, sir? Did you pull everything?
Yeah, we needed every shard I had, and we got it all, baby. We got 6 Barons, 4 Kaimars. No. What did we pulled my 6th Valkyrie and my 2nd Rorik. Whoa.
Nice. 6th Valkyrie. Okay.
Don't need any of that.
Don't you just wish you could trade anything after 4 or 5, I guess?
Yeah, it's as if they would refresh the token trader shop into something, or I don't know.
Yeah, something like that would be really nice, right? Let me take a
Taras in the token trader.
Yeah.
Let me acknowledge some of the chat real quick. We got Huss on the stream with us here, guys. We have Samuel, YouTube TV, another content creator. Yes, that is Nacho, the chip right there. He's streaming everything for us over on Twitch until I can figure out how to work my Twitch. YouTube just comes a little more easier apparently for me. But all right, so we've had over the past couple of weeks, we've had a couple of bombs dropped on us, right? We talked about the Bigger Than Doom Tower. And then on the Raid Digest this week, we had, I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but they told us that there's some nerfs coming for some Hydra chips. Did you guys catch that at all? Nacho?
They did not specifically say that they were nerfing anybody. What they had said is that they are monitoring champions' performance in Hydra, is what they had said.
Okay, fair.
So,
some
yes,
some
I
of
did
us
see it, and it's exactly what you would think. You know, they're always, everyone's talking about Trunda right now. Like, it's been, as soon as Corpulent got banned, the entire CC chat and everybody was like, "What about Trunda? Like, can we not wait 6 weeks and figure out what she's gonna do? Because we know what she's gonna do." So, I mean, everyone's talking about that, but yeah, we could definitely see some more.
I say Yumiko.
Did you catch that, Gestal? Did you read that as a nerf coming?
Yeah, I mean, I always read through the digest. I like something. I mean, they always seem to throw something like that in there, so I feel like you always have to look at it. I don't. I didn't really. I guess. I guess it's Trunda. I mean, Madman's another one that people are saying is kind of broken right now. Or Nacho for sure was showing me a couple screenshots of it.
Madman?
Madman the Rare, his A1's doing like
Yep.
1 million plus per hit or something.
My clanmate did a 1.3 billion key with Madman.
That's insane.
So I kind of
1.3.
I felt like it's the encompassing Yumiko. I don't know, the double reset, like I don't know. I don't know if that is intended or not, because it doesn't, like Kaimar doesn't do it, and it doesn't specifically say like there's really nothing different about the abilities minus, one's a full cooldown and one's a 3-turn. But nothing else, like it doesn't say either way that it will or will not reset, I believe, on either of them. So I don't know if because she's void she's able to, or it's just the way they coded one versus the other, or that's the way it's intended. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I don't know. Regardless, I've kind of given up on doing after the corporate cadaver nerf. I haven't really been messing with those because like for Hydra Clash we like super overinflated our numbers, and now we're just getting absolutely annihilated. We haven't even come close to even coming in fourth the last I don't know 2-3 weeks now. So I figure like we're gonna see where we're gonna end up after 4 weeks and kind of get reset into a normal number here, and then hopefully we can push teams to be a little bit better. So I'm not gonna really mess with those teams, I think, right now, because that's mostly what we're seeing is like these Trunda teams and stuff, like putting up crazy numbers again.
Okay. Mr. BS, did you see that as a incoming nerf to some champions?
Yeah, I could see it coming because it's well needed, and some like Trunda's hitting way harder. Like my Trunda's a normal Trunda, and on normal I was starting to dip into that kind of stuff, and it was showing the numbers. I'm like,
people getting up to 600x their score by these Trunda teams.
Yeah.
600x.
100 times their score.
What?
Yep. That's why it's a problem.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So that, I mean, I looked at it and I was like, okay, so they're they're taking what the content creators have been saying in chat and, you know, at least looking at it and saying, we're going to start paying some attention. We're going to monitor things. But, you know, I think we touched on it last week. How long before they actually, you know, get these, I guess, fixes or get these issues resolved, right? That's going to be the bigger question. We got Zero Brew in the chat. Welcome, sir, guys. Make sure you go follow Zero Brew over on YouTube and Twitch. And make sure you hit that dab button on his Twitch, right? All right, so let me ask you guys, do you see, I mean, I didn't even know about Madman, but do you guys see any other champions that should be looked into or that you foresee like an issue with them coming in Hydra right now other than, you know, the obvious Yumiko Trundas? Let's go with Gestal first.
I feel like you'd have to kind of look to the mythicals, really, because I don't know. I feel like if they really do something with Trunda and they really do something with Madman, like I don't know of anything else that's really crazy. Like having the double reset at that point, like who are you really double resetting? Maybe like a Turvold or something, or you know. But I still don't think it'll be nearly as effective as kind of like all these other comps that have been. And I'm sure someone will come up with something. I mean. There's chaos out there, but I feel like the mythical champs could, you know, as they come out, maybe not even ones that are here yet, but as they come out, like the newest one does a whole like the almost like a Yumiko kind of Kaimar thing going, but as she goes back and forth between her transformations. So you know that could be, you know, the next thing that starts. I don't, you know, like who knows? Like I feel like there's always potential for something. But yeah, for now, I think it's just something that they're gonna, like, if they really want the Hydra Clash thing to take off, it's something that they're really gonna have to work on, because that's you know, that's a PvP point. That's where a lot of people are spending crazy amounts of time right now. I know Nacho's put an insane amount of time in on that. And to me, it's just like I was doing it on stream the other day, and I was like, I felt like I was dozing off. Like I just get, it's too much for me, man. So I don't know. I hope they fix any issues that they have and like make this much more competitive. You know, I'm not, like I said, like I'm not in a clan that, you know, is in the top clan or anything. You know, like up there with you guys, but you know, but we still want to be competitive, and we need to be we need to be able to compete with clans that aren't just that are throwing out these crazy comps all the time.
Okay, yeah, I could see this one possibly, you know, between her and a Yumiko resetting each other, even though this is on a 5-turn cooldown. Yumiko's on a 5-turn cooldown too as well, right? Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, they get rid of her, you put her in, you know, if Yumiko is fixed, if she can't reset herself, then she can reset Yumiko, or Kaimar can reset Yumiko, and vice versa. But Mr. BS, what about you? Do you foresee any other champions that could be an issue that, you know, we could help Plarium out and say, hey, take a look at this before you start doing any other nerfs?
I'd say like along lines of his back. The mythicals are probably going to be an issue in the future as well.
Is there any particular one you have, or?
No, I don't have any mythicals yet. It's just the way that they have been. I could see that they could be broken.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
No, not even close. Honestly, even the Madman team isn't that much more in excess of what we can do normally. If you look at the leaderboard Discord, you can see all of the big keys that people are doing. People are barely scraping 1 billion points on Nightmare with any other combination of champions. Now, not many people are running double Yumiko, not Trunda right now. So that's definitely influencing it. Like when everyone was running Corpulent, not one person submitted a Trunda team. All right, like everybody just did Corpulent teams. It didn't matter. So, but now since Shuzen is in the picture, actually, Trunda is able to do Nightmare. That's what's enabled Trunda.
That champ is broken.
Nightmare.
That champ is broken.
Not double Yumiko at all. Like there was one person in the entire game that had even done a one key 36.6 mil damage with Trundas on Nightmare. One person, and it was Galen. Okay, who has the most insane encounter. It's like Sato, same fucking level. So the damage comparison we're talking about isn't even friggin' close. Even with Madman, the next most busted thing in Hydra right now, it's not even remotely in the same galaxy. So I'm gonna say no for now. But the real question is, how many points is too many points? And if you go over that many points, the champion needs to get banned or adjusted in some way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So can you give us a little bit of because this is the first time I've heard about the Madman comp. Can you give us a little bit of a explanation about what exactly enables him to do ridiculous numbers like that?
It's just the A1. A lot of surplus damage abilities go through multipliers a second time. So when you hit a decapitated head, which also gets a 300% damage multiplier. So if you hit that head for 300k, it multiplies to 900k. Then you splash 300k of that, and then that goes through your multipliers again. So you're actually splashing 1 million onto each of the decapitated head, or onto each of the living head. And then you have hex damage,
right,
which does 10% or 30% to a decapitated head. So
okay, that makes.
But he's one of the only champions in the game that can do surplus damage, quote unquote, surplus damage without actually killing anything. That's the problem in Hydra, is nothing actually dies. You don't get any mastery, like the speed one or kills damage when you get kills, anything like that. You don't get any of that in Hydra. Any abilities that say, oh, when you kill something you get an extra turn or what? None of that works in fucking Hydra. So
okay. So myself, I think I could see. So we know that the Trunda and that Yumiko are the problem. I can definitely see people coming in and starting to abuse Shuzen, especially if we don't deal with the issue of having duplicates on the team. I feel like if you put her maybe in like a reflex set really fast, you're just going to get, again, being another void champion would be the dwarf. Forgot what her name is because Acrizia.
Like you can't say these things because the Trunda team works on a critical mass type situations. You either do no damage or you do billion on Nightmare. There's no in between with the Shuzen and Trunda team. You're either one-shotting heads or you're dead. That's it. So when you remove double Yumiko or Shuzen or anybody, the team just doesn't work. Okay.
So it wouldn't work at all, let's say, with Acrizia and her A3?
No, not even fucking close.
Why not? Me? The enemy max HP hits.
It hits for 20% of the head's HP? Who cares? It doesn't do anything.
Right, but I mean...
the problem with Trunda is she can go over top of the spawn protection. That's why she's insane. You get 3 decapitated heads, the hex damage alone from sending a Trunda A2 will kill any head. That's the problem. No champion in the game does that much damage. I was watching Scratch's Trunda hit 60 million per A2 on a constant reset.
Wow.
60 million. You're splashing 10% of that minimum onto any living head, plus they get their damage.
We're talking about Scratch here, so
I don't care. You're talking about Nightmare Hydra Trunda team. People that are
Right.
doing that have Scratch's level account. There's like
Right.
45 of them in the game. Okay?
Right.
And they
But
are
what I'm
annihilating people.
what I'm saying though is that Shuzhen, if we don't deal with the duplicates issue, right, where we ban duplicate champions from Hydra,
She's balanced is what I'm telling you, because you can't reach that critical mass situation without double reset.
right? But if we don't deal with the double reset, right, because you could come in with a Kaimar and you can come in with a Yumiko, or you can come in with the new champion that we just have.
Which is also not the same. Like
I'm sure
you can't reset Crixia, is that her name? Whatever the heck her name is. Night Rev, right?
the new one.
Yeah. I don't even know if you can reset.
Yeah, it's Crixia.
Yeah.
Crixia.
So her alternate form A3 doesn't say anything about. It says,
Not a single. Go read Kaimar's. Go read Yumiko's. None of them say they can't be not reset. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, not Painkeeper, Emic, Nia, anybody can reset Kaimar's. Nobody. Except for Yumiko, I think. It can reduce his.
this doesn't.
Yumiko,
I'm pretty
Yumiko's
sure
the
Kaimar
only-
says that it cannot
it
reset.
does not. Not even a little fucking bit. It says resets this cooldown of all champions on your team or whatever.
Okay.
Resets the cooldown of all ally skills, fills
Yeah.
the turn meter of all allies except this champion by 20%.
But
Yep. It doesn't say that he doesn't reset other Kaimars. No of the abilities in the game say that. So again, even if you remove the double Yumiko thing and you've pivoted now that I've said something.
no, but it says right here. It says resets the cooldown of all ally skills, fills the champion's turn meter, except
all
for this
ally
ally
skills.
by 20%. Except this
Fills it.
champion.
Fills the turn meter of all allies except this champion.
Debatable.
Two different.
Sentences.
They're two different. There's literally a period in the middle of the fucking thing, dude.
Let me pull up Yumiko's, because I don't think. Yeah, see, so Yumiko says will not decrease cooldowns of this champion skills. So that's, I don't know. I guess maybe Plarium needs to come out and kind of word this in and let us know who can and cannot. But maybe the bigger issue is that, we're reset champion skills. And I guess if that doesn't happen, we'd be better off, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think we should be able to, for Hydra and other content in the game, be able to play upon the reset upon reset, right? Like Kaimar resets Yumiko, Yumiko resets Kaimar. You guys think we should be able to do that in game? Or should, just one reset champion and that's it? Let's go with Nacho first.
I think it's fine either way. You just need to be consistent. Like, that's a game design choice, and none of us are gonna say yes, that's the way it absolutely should be. But either way that you're gonna be, just be consistent. You know what I mean? Or just put it in the skill description. You know what I mean? Like, it's not very difficult to say, well, this one does it, but this one doesn't. But here's why. You know what I'm saying? It's not that unreasonable. So I think it's fine either way, really.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say consistency over it all. I mean, it took me a while to get a Kaimar, probably 2.5 years, and then I got a second Kaimar pretty quickly. And I mean, all it really, obviously, other outside of Hydra and all this nonsense, all it really does is give you quicker speed runs, like on Doom Tower and dungeon runs and stuff. So I don't, I don't think it's really that much of a game changer. And now let's see what happens with Hydra, obviously. But yeah, I think it needs to be consistent, or at least clarified. better, like in the descriptions.
Okay. Okay. Mr. BS, what about you? Do you think we should be able to play off the resets?
For Hydra, no. For everything else, I don't think it matters as much. Just as like Doom Tower, like we're just running it as fast as possible to get out of it for the time it's up. But like for Hydra, like I feel like it's a little broken.
Okay. Well, let me
Like-
ask you now. You said for Hydra. Hydra is, or at least the Hydra Clash is competitive. What about
Yes.
Arena?
Arena, you won't see it as much because you can't have 6 champions.
You can't, but
Oh, I use it all the time.
Yeah.
You
you
use double reset in.
I use
Arena?
Kaimar Yumi all the time, man.
Yeah, people use it definitely just because you can go like Sify Taurus, Yumi,
Yeah.
Kaimar. You're constantly locking them out. You constantly are A3ing. You're
Yeah.
constantly boosting. Like they never get a chance. They never get a
It's
chance.
beautiful. It gives me. Yeah, it also could backfire really easily, but when
I
it
never
does, it's
had that.
beautiful.
Never had the opportunity to use that.
Uh,
Himiko, unexistent.
So you think just for Hydra, or would you support it as well for Arena?
Maybe Arena, but I don't see it as much for me.
Okay.
But,
What elo of
yeah.
Arena are you currently in?
Gold 5 Arena,
Okay.
and then gold 3 tag team.
Okay. Okay. So you're up there. You're seeing some of these accounts. All right. So let's keep talking about Hydra now, right? And the second part of the raid digest this week was we now have confirmation that the taunt mechanic is actually working as intended. When taunt is out, the champion that has the mark of the Hydra on him cannot be targeted. So taunt's been out for roughly a couple of months. I want to say probably about 3 months, if I'm not mistaken, maybe a little bit longer or shorter, give or take a little bit. And we're just now finding out about this. So my first question is going to be, are you looking at building a team with taunt champions, i.e. Emek, or what's the other one from the
Dudan.
Sylvan Ranch? Dudan, is it Dudan or is it Rorik?
Oh, there's
Greenwood and
Both of them
Rorik.
have
And
if I'm not
Dudan. Oh yeah,
mistaken,
Dudan as well. Dudan's the epic.
yeah,
right?
Rurik does too. Yeah.
Yep.
Forgot about
So,
that.
are you guys looking to build a team like this? Let's go ahead and start with Mr. BS first.
Probably not.
Okay.
I didn't even know about that.
Okay.
About the Duden team.
I believe there's 2 content creators out already that have put some videos out there. One is Bronco Raids, who just recently became a official raid content creator. So congratulations to him. And then the other one was Tyraku. Recently just put one out. I was actually in the midst of working on one, trying to put my Emek in a reflex set and keeping it up really fast, but wasn't really working out well for me. So what about you, Nacho? Are you going to be looking at building one of these teams?
no chance one of these teams are even going to compare to anything I can do right now. On my account, it's not even close. Not even a chance in hell. Dealing with the heads isn't even. I get 3 or 4 consumptions in 1,500 turns. That's how fast I'm killing heads on all of my teams.
Okay.
Yeah, dodging the consumption isn't the thing, and all of my teams are designed to break champions out with basically A1s. Like I don't need to like have big abilities to get them out. It's such a non-factor for me. The next thing that I'm interested to see how much damage people can do with these teams. I am interested in them, especially since I do a lot of takeovers for people in my clan and whatnot. And particularly for people's third teams. A lot of people have a really hard time with their third teams, and if they could start even doing 2, 3, 400 million with some of these teams because you're able to, focus differently on your champion selection. I'm definitely interested in them, but so far I don't even know if I'm into suggesting them because the difficulty to build them. Mischief's a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Mischief he sucks. He ruins everything. And when you're talking about a 1500 turn run, I don't think I've ever had a run that Mischief didn't 3% me. He just takes too many turns. I mean, you're talking about 100. He takes more than 100 turns in the run. He's probably going to steal buffs at minimum 5 times. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's if he hits somebody with resistance every single time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about 10 to 15 buff steals a run on average, especially if you don't have block buffs, your run's over. There's obviously ways to go against it, but I don't know if delaying the consumption is really that big of a deal, to be honest. Emic is the only one of any of the taunt champions that has Hydra viability, in my opinion, to use this mechanic. He actually helps your team otherwise, even if the taunt isn't in play. So you can abuse the taunt while it's there, but then you can, have a really strong team otherwise. I don't think Duden or Rorik do anywhere near enough. So.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? Are you looking at building one of these teams, especially on our free-to-play?
I actually use them on my free to play, but I don't have the gear, I think, to really do something like that. I feel like the only way this would be viable is definitely what Nacho said. Like, it would have to be Emic, and you'd have to. I think you'd just have to make him insanely fast. I don't even like reflex wouldn't be enough, but that would just to maintain taunt up like all the time. Obviously increase speed, decrease speed, whatever else you could run, like maneuver around it. Because if you're dedicating 2 champs to taunt, you're just losing too many other things, I feel like. But people big brain this stuff all the time, man. I'm sure someone will come out with a way where this really could work out and be like a pretty cool team. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna like try and be that person to figure it out. And I don't. I don't know. I have plans for Emic in other places, so that's where I'll be using them.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's with the cadaver. If we had known about it, there would have been a better way to make sure that at least cadaver wasn't being swallowed, right? So I think. Pre-cadaver nerf would have been great to know about it. A little, I guess I could say upset at the fact that it took so long for us to be told what's going on. And I don't know if they, kind of initially intended on this happening because, again, it was out for a while. People were working on Emic teams for Hydra when he first came out. And then we just found out about it now after the cadaver nerf. So I don't know. It maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I feel like it's definitely a viable strategy for everybody to be able to progress in Hydra. But to Nacho's point, will it be able to do enough damage? I think the only team that I could positively say I could see being, viable would be like a double Painkeeper Emic with probably an Acrizia or a Newt and maybe like a Lydia in a curse set, I would say. You probably have a good shot of just keeping that A3 up, AoE attacking everything and probably getting something done that way and hitting those kind of numbers. But will it be viable? I don't think so, but I do think it'll be enough to get people's 1 key for at least Nightmare. And are you guys, if someone asks you to build the team for them, because it's no easy task, right? It does require specific gear for some of the champions and a lot of stats, especially for the Painkeepers, right? Because Painkeepers are pretty squishy. Do you guys foresee yourselves building these teams for your community? Nacho?
No, not really. The one way that I would probably do it rather than using Painkeepers would just to be use Dryad and Nia. It's basically a one turn or a one champion combo there. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to do all of the other things, and she brings more for your team because you only need to reset Emic. You only need to reset the Taunter. So you could, and then he resets everybody else with the A2 as well. So, you keep that rolling. I'd be much more inclined to build something with those two champions than anything else.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
I don't really foresee it. No. I mean,
Okay.
I get, like I said, something
Not
could
really.
happen and this becomes like super viable, but
I'm not really gonna be building these teams. So.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
Okay.
I thought I had Discord muted.
Sure
Oops, I clicked the wrong button.
you did.
I was trying to
Sure you
respond
did,
to somebody
Nacho.
in my chat.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it'll be I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I guess if it's the only thing that someone's like the only option, and let's see if we can figure something out. But I don't. I really feel like you'd have to have crazy gear to get Emic to do this right, like crazy speeds.
I think I have mine currently built. Let me take a look. And I mean, granted, I wasn't working with the double Painkeepers because my Painkeepers are built for Iron Twins, but
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing with Emic.
yeah, I think my MX built at 248 speed right now, and for Hydra he's 258 in reflex with like one refresh. So I don't know. I feel I feel you're right. It is going to be very stat hungry, right? Mr. BS, what about you? Are you looking to build some of these out for your community?
Most likely not. I just don't. It seems like a hard team to build. Like, seems very fast, and you have to like either have two of them or have insane gear. Like, I've been using Emic and Twins, Shogun, and I think that's about it. But like, that's my only taunter right now.
Okay.
So I didn't even know about the other guy until now.
All right. Do we know if Emek can reset the cooldown of Emek or lower the cooldown of Emek? Because that would be kind of interesting. I don't know. Nacho, do you know of anything?
You should double, like if you could run two Emics, you're saying?
Yeah.
It should, because then you'd have like double overlap with taunt. But it's like at what point are you not bringing enough buffs and debuffs to start doing damage? Is the whole point here? Like this team is not very efficient champion wise, and if you have a limited roster, you don't have the gear to make it work. So
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see here. We've been told that we're gonna get new content where, November's already upon us. The end of the year is almost here. We've got just shy of 8 weeks, right? And are you guys really hyped up for this? Like, are you like biting your nails waiting for this new bigger than Doom Tower to drop for us in the next couple of weeks? Nacho?
oh yeah, absolutely. I love new content, and to say bigger than Doom Tower, I want hard bosses. I can't wait. Let's go.
Okay. Gestal, what about you? Are you waiting for it? Like, is it, biting your nails?
Yeah, I mean, I think content's been feeling a bit dry for sure. Obviously, they came out with mythicals and stuff, but pretty much like what we've gotten this year is live arena, right? Like, and two new bosses.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it's been. I feel like it's been feeling a bit dry, a bit stale on the PVE front for sure. And if it like I loved Doom Tower when Doom Tower came out, like that, it was a ton of fun. It was fun, like getting through the floors. It was fun working on the different bosses. Seeing all the different comps people are coming out with. So if they're telling me it's gonna be way better than that or way bigger than that, I have big expectations. I hope it's gonna be really good.
Okay. And yes, Emic does reset Emic. I just tested. All right. Mr. BS, what about you? Are you waiting for this new content, biting your nails, getting everything ready?
Of course, who doesn't like new content that goes off of Nacho said, it's it's been dry. We it's gonna be exciting. It's just gonna be really exciting.
Okay. Myself, I'm waiting for it. I really, really want the new content, but at the same time, I want it released properly, right? I don't want to half-assed content.
As long as it doesn't take energy, right? Right? Somebody in my chat wants me to make sure I mention that. This shit better not take energy. I swear.
I mean, yeah. Tiger Blood says, new content, get ready, guys. It's hard minnow. I could see that being done. I could see, I could see them doing something like that. God, what would you guys do if the new content was hard minnow? Would you just be like, I'm done, I quit? I don't know. What would you do, Gestal?
I mean, if it was awesome, I'd be cool with it, I guess. But if it's just like a more difficult version of Minotaur, it'd be pretty weak. I doubt that's it. I mean, obviously, we're joking, but
are we though? Are we?
I mean, how do you shoot yourself in the foot any quicker than telling everybody it's going to be the greatest thing in the world and then give them nothing? So. I don't expect it. I expect good things. I expect good things.
Clarium's a little smarter than that. A little bit smarter than that.
Well, I have to say, Cyril is typically very choice with her words. So I don't, I don't think she overstepped. I think they, prompted her to say that very specifically. So
that line was definitely word for word from the company how they
worded it. Exactly. So I think that's why I have big expectations. I don't think that was just off the cuff no, I promise guys, I promise it's gonna be 10 times bigger. And it was it looked like she was reading it off a script.
Okay. You're best scripting.
Okay.
Probably.
All right, so let's dive a little deeper on that subject right now. With this new content, we've seen over the last year they released the new bosses, which it's just more of a kind of an end game thing, cash grab type of feel. Let's throw something out there, make them get more resources so they can build up more of their main champions and give more of a power creep. And then we got the live arena, which, some players have been enjoying, like Gestal, some players not so much. If this new content is a flop, would this be the end of you playing Raid? And would you kind of look into playing any different games? Let's go with Mr. BS first.
If it's a flop, probably not. I'd probably just stick with this. I'm more of a hard go-getter where I just stick with it.
Okay.
And even if they throw something bad, okay, I just take it as with a grain of salt and just do what I was doing.
Okay. So your love of Raid would still keep you here?
I'd still be here, yeah. But
okay.
I don't know how to explain it. It wouldn't deter me from the game.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. Gestal, what about you?
Nah, I mean, I'm not gonna leave if the content's bad. I enjoy the game. I'm gonna keep playing it until I don't enjoy it. That's pretty much how I go with any game. I kind of feel like I've heard a lot of people say this. I think Nacho says it all the time, but I'm in this camp. Like, this is kind of my first and not my first. Well, this is my first gacha game, but like I played a bunch outside of Raid, checking out new ones. There's always like whatever Hell 80s used to talk about, I would go check it out at least. And any of the other content creators. So I've played all of them kind of in between. And none of them have nearly kept my attention like this one has. So I'll keep playing it, man. Like, the account's almost 4 years old. Like, that's tough to give up on. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, I really do enjoy playing it. Like, I look forward to playing it. I look forward to streaming it. So, I don't, if it's not amazing, like, I'm still having fun with everything else. No, I don't, I don't know. So we'll see. But it's definitely not going to push me away from the game. Now, will it push other people away from the game? Yeah, I'm sure it will, because people. I feel like people are always looking for a way out. I don't know, but I could definitely see like a community of like a fairly good backlash of people leaving if it's
Okay.
not good.
Yeah, and I can agree with you there. I mean, I've already seen a bit of the player base leave to the point where, people are like, here's my account, take it, I'm out of here, I'm gone. And they I usually I hold on to it and I'm like, all right, I'll play it. And, if you want to come back in like a week or two, some of the players gave their accounts up like 2-3 months ago. And they're like, I'm like, hey, you want to come back and play? Nope, not interested. Not at all. So yeah, I could see that happening. Nacho, what about you? If this new content is a flop, will you still stick around playing Raid?
Yeah. I think one thing that people need to understand about their gaming in general is that you're probably not going to play any game for the rest of your life, guys. I hate to break it to you. You might get 10 years out of a game, 15 if it, actually has some longevity to it, and that's kind of how they go. So I'm having a lot of fun with the game. It'll definitely decrease my fun in the game if the content's a flop. But I definitely have like my account. Even when the new content drops, I'm probably gonna be done with it already. You know what I mean? Like within the first month, I'm probably already gonna be done with it. So helping other people is really where I have a lot of fun in the game, and just helping, just building new stuff that people aren't working with, and all that things, right? So my enjoyment will definitely go down if the new content's boring or if it's not like engaging for newer people getting into it. The most developed accounts are probably going to blow up any piece of content they release. Like, to be honest, even since Hydra came out, people were doing Nightmare Hydra day one. Boom. You know what I mean? Or the second week, whatever it was, when they could get to it. I know tons of accounts that were doing it even before you could provoke. So I'm definitely excited, but yeah, it'll make me play my account less. I'll say that, because there'll be nothing for me to do. So
Okay. Zero Brew says here, I think he's in it for the long haul until Fateless or Hell Hades releases his game off in 2 years.
I think 2 years is.
I think that's a
It's
little early.
Short too. That's high expectations for a bunch of people who haven't done this.
Yeah, like the
4
amount
years. 4 years probably.
That's an
A
insane
long time.
4 years.
I hope they make something amazing, man. I think they probably got a good group of people.
I mean, you think about just the character model designs, just the character models. If it took you a week to design the models and all the animations for every character in Raid when it released, you're talking about it's like a whole year of work.
Yeah.
Just that. Let alone like actually developing kits, and making sure enough of your abilities are covered in different rarities and factions, and it's not that all of that really takes that much effort in the end of the day, but there's a lot more that goes into deving a game than people think. And
Yeah, it's an
a
insane
four
amount.
year a 4 year dev cycle for anything that's not a small indie game basically is ambitious as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, take a look at the roadmap for Raid, right? They wanted to get all this content done in like, the 6 months to a year, 2 years, and how long did it take for them to give us Hydra? I think it was like 2 years almost. So yeah, that might be a little too early, right? But Nacho just brought up a great point about endgame accounts and the difficulty of this content, right? Now, let me ask you guys. We've all been playing for years, right? We all can at this point do our 100 million Hydra keys, stuff like that, insane clan boss teams. So most of this content is going to come for our accounts or the well developed accounts pretty easy, right? And so how hard do you guys think this content should be? Should it be, gated just for the end game players? Should it be, based off of, how dungeons work, where, skill of, or not skill, but I guess difficulty ranges upon what level you are? What are your thoughts on this? Where should, the difficulty range, and how should it range? Let's go with Gestal first.
Sorry, I was reading Zero Brew's statement. Can you repeat the question again?
All right.
Just remind me of it. Remind me.
Okay, so how hard do you think this new game mode should be, right? Is it something,
yeah.
that only the end game player should do? How should the difficulty be determined? Should it be based by level, or what are your thoughts? How would you think it would come out as a well-released game mode?
I feel like you have to make it end game for where the game is at now, because they've got a pretty good base of progression kind of built in already. I don't feel like you need to put new content in for younger accounts. I don't really feel like you need that. You need to keep the old people here, and you need to have further progression for when those newer accounts get to that point. So I feel like it's got to be end game. Now, in terms of how hard it is, I could see them doing something somewhat like Doom Tower, where there's like a normal and hard mode, maybe something like that. So maybe they'll give it like, be able to get some new accounts will be able to kind of taste it at the beginning, but like the hard side of it would be the real difficult part for kind of what, the older accounts might be trying to progress through. So that's kind of how I foresee it, especially the fact that they mentioned Doom Tower along with it. So I guess that's why my head went that way. I don't know. That's what I see though.
Okay, so you think, if I'm getting this right, we should be, it should be tailored a little more to end game players,
Yeah, for sure.
but not just for them. It new players coming in that have been playing the game for 3 to 6 months.
Just for endgame. I'd be fine if it was just endgame, honestly. Like for my just like for my free to play account, 16 months in, I can barely get through the first 4 or 5 floors of Doom Tower hard. Like I'm still progressing through that. Like I don't need another thing to try to progress through. Like I feel like it needs to be more at the end game. There's plenty to do for early and mid game.
Okay. So, at what time frame do you think, newer accounts should be able to hit this new content? Would you say 6 months, a year, 18 months?
I don't know. I guess Yeah, I mean, if it's like your only account and you've pushed really hard, you're not doing anything else. Like this is like it's your main account, and you're I don't know. I mean, I would have no problem again if it was like whatever. Like, uh, I'm not trying to say like whatever I think is the way they need to do it either, but um, I don't feel like it's I don't think new players need to have more content. So like if it's viable or not for them, like I don't know if they'd even have time to do it. It's there's enough going on down there as it is. So if they could, go into it and do like I don't know, let's just say it's 10 floors of whatever it is. Like on a normal version of Doom Tower Hard or normal. Um, just to see what it's all about and get to check it out. Like I think that's cool. Why not? But if that's not available, I don't think it's probably a big deal either. I don't think that would really turn any sort of new people off from the game at all. I think the people who are really anticipating this are kind of the older crowd.
Okay. Still avoiding the time frame question though.
I mean, it
Just
depends
eat
on the
answer,
account.
man.
I mean, I know accounts at 6 months that could do stuff that accounts at 2 years can't do. I mean, they get
Yeah.
lucky or they spend a lot of money. It's like a time frame. I don't think is something that I could really give it. Maybe an account level. Let's say account level. I don't know, 80.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Time wise doesn't really matter because if you're pay to win, you can pretty much blow through this game depending on what the size of your wallet. So I guess the question should have been not time, but level wise. So level 80. Okay, fair enough. That's a good question. That's a good way of answering the question. So I probably should have phrased that a little bit better. Nacho, what about you?
So I'm definitely with Alpha Bravo in my chat on this one. It depends on where the rewards are, and we kind of know what they're going to be. This is going to be our main source of primal quartz and shards and mythic books, we assume. So this should not be game content. Like, to be honest, like early game people have enough things to work on. The number one complaint of mid game players, not end game players, is how much time this game takes. End game players, it takes them 45 fucking minutes a day to do their stuff. And then Hydra right now is their biggest time sink. Or if they want to do live arena, but if they're doing live arena, they're kind of enjoying it. So they're playing a game at the end of the day as well. So it should be end game content. Nothing short of it. Mid game and early game accounts don't really need that many mythical champions, to be honest. Account progression level is something that they gate everything behind. That's why you unlock everything at such a low level. They don't want to limit you if you have the ability to do the content. Okay, so if you can find a cheeky way to get through the waves or whatever thing like that, you can feel rewarded for coming up with something effective way above your hitting range, right? Sand Devil unlocks level 40, right? 45 right. Or something like that. Like it's your first month of playing, you have Sand Devil on. Albeit that's an advanced quest as well, but just to so they always want you to reach a certain amount of account level, or not actual level, but progression before you unlock content. And this piece of content, I want to see it at least as complex as Nightmare Hydra and as stat hungry as Sand Devil.
Okay.
So Sand Devil is by far our most limited content in the game. There are the least amount of options for that compared to anything, and it's not even freaking close. Especially since with the nerf to or the change to Shogun and the being able to block the cleanse or block the spread instead of just having to cleanse it off, right?
Yep.
So Sand Devil is extremely limited in our pool because we have 3 Revive on Death champions that put AoE up that you can actually make a team around, right? Most people are just using Godseeker because it's an accessible one. Which is easy, don't get me wrong. But if you want to build a team without Godseeker, that boss is a nightmare. You know what I mean? So I want to see bosses like that, where if you do the mechanics well, or you find a way to work around the mechanics, you get rewarded really heavily. Shogun as well. The boss doesn't work if your team's not built for that boss. You know what I mean? I don't want bosses where I can just chuck in generic ass champions and beat it. I want to make champions specialized for it, which is end game content. So
Okay. Would you gate it behind a certain level? What level would you gate it behind?
50.
50? Okay. Okay. Just real quick, Zero Brew says he spends 18 hours a day. So I want you guys to think about how much time you spend in this game, because I will be asking you that before the show is over tonight. Mr. BS, what about you? What do you think?
I would say probably towards like it should be totally end game content as well. Like it would be nice to have like something else to do inside the game. Hold on 1 second. I'd say on progression level, I'd say like 70 or 80.
70 or
Because
80?
yeah, they could whale out I get like you'll get whales that are like just get into the game, like get into every end game content just because they've paid money. We have to have a little progression, I guess.
Okay. So for myself, I really hope it is kind of like what you guys said. It really is targeted towards that end game player, with just a taste of what some players can do. And because let's be honest, if you really push your account in the start, you could be level 40 within a week, right? And that's just being like completely free to play with what they give you for resources if you're smart about it. I think level wise, I think 60 to 70 would probably be the best time. But I don't think they're going to gate it behind that. I think what Nacho's number was, 50 is probably where they're going to keep it behind, right? Now, let me ask you, how long do or should it take you to complete this new content? Do you want it to be something where, let's look at Doom Tower. Doom Tower, I don't think there was a lot of people that really first rotation cleared it, right? It took them, I want to say, at least till the second rotation, maybe third rotation for some people. I know from my account back then, I think the first rotation, I didn't clear it until the third one. And that was mostly because I was lacking specific champions. But how long do you think it should give you guys, how long of enjoyment should it give you guys before it's just, just kind of hit full auto, walk away, and see you later? Let's go with Gestal first.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly, I want to be able to beat it as fast as possible, but I want it to be challenging. So, obviously, if it takes you a while to beat it, like say it's gated by keys or something, and you can only do 1 a day or 10 a day, like a Doom Tower or something. Like I wouldn't mind being gated, maybe kind of like that to kind of spread it out. But I don't know. I think the fun's in trying to just get it done and kind of come up with new comps like as quick as possible. That's kind of the fun in it for me.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
about 2 months, to be honest. The first month people like go for their first completions, then people will build, like if it's a 2 month rotation, for example, I guess. People will go the first month, get their completions. The second month they'll build faster teams, and then after that, people will just wait until a new champion comes out for a boss, basically, or they pull one for the boss, and then they'll redo their teams. Other than that, you just have speedrun content left, which is enjoyable to me. So I mean, I might get a third month out of it, so to speak. But for the most part, 2 months, 2 rotations, something like that.
Okay. Mr. BS, what about you?
I would try say like I'd say about like 2 or 3 months. It should be like a long strain for content. That way we don't just like scroll through it. Yeah, I like getting through content right away, but I just don't want to be like, oh, I'm done with it right away. Like, like I just don't want that to happen. It's just it needs to have like a progression.
Okay. So honestly, for myself, again, being a endgame player, I feel like, especially with the way we've been getting content, and you guys may disagree with me, but I don't feel Sand Devil and Shogun is like sufficient content to keep me engaged, right? Because it's like I just put the auto battle on and walk away. But I feel like it needs to take me a little bit longer to beat it, right? Or at least offer us kind of like what Doom Tower does, where it's a different rotation. So I don't get to beat, if I don't get to beat the rotation one right now, I'll have another chance in like 3 months. And I think it should be, at least 3 to 6 months of us being able to enjoy this content and kind of come up with different things, right? Because if we don't, we'll be back in the same slope of things. We're just, end game players are going to breeze right through it, and then we're going to be looking back at Plarium and saying, hey, we need something else, give us more. Real quick, I want to answer a question here that Tali asked. Why lock it behind any levels? Just say suggested. So I feel, at least myself, and Gestal touched on it just a little bit ago. Newer players have a lot of things to do, right? You get introduced to a whole big slew of things. You get introduced to Hydra, Clan Boss, Shogun, everything. If you feel, especially because I'm anticipating that they're going to add quests for this. If you feel like you have to do so much, the game can be overwhelming, right? And I think that's where you see a lot of people kind of leave the game, right? And that's not healthy. That's not what we want. We want people to come enjoy the game, especially as content creators, right? We want to have people come and interact with us. We want to interact with the community and enjoy doing stuff with everybody. So I definitely think, it should be gated behind a certain level. Now, back to Zero Brew's question. Let's talk about how many hours you spend on this game a day. And I'm going to start with Mr. BS first. How many hours do you spend on Raid Shadow Legends a day? And be honest with yourself.
If I'm doing Hydra, probably at least 6, or maybe 6 or 7 hours just for Hydra.
Wow.
Like, maybe. Because if I get failed runs like over and over and over, like it's gonna be a while. And like then my keys are like an hour plus, like 70, 80 minutes. Like, and then probably for dailies, I get them done relatively fast. I can speedrun them. But like everything else, if I'm farming, about 13 hours maybe, if I'm really going hard.
Okay. Can you explain to us why members of the chat are telling us you fell asleep on stream?
Yeah, I was.
Everything comes out. Everything comes out.
Yeah, I was just working a lot, and I just in my job I work overnights, and sometimes it's 12 hours shifts, and I was just really tired, like, and I just passed out on stream, and then I woke, like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I just woke up in my bed and I realized, I was like, wait, was I still streaming? And like, I literally went to my desk, and I was like, yeah, it was still live. I'm like, oh god. Okay, exit that quick.
Okay.
Like,
I can't lie.
I may or may not have fallen asleep in the past a few times, but that's another day.
Okay. Okay. I can't lie myself.
But like,
There
I
are
don't know.
plenty of times where I'm sitting behind the keyboard and I'm doing things, and
Almost
I knock
all-
out on my
I can hear.
chair, and my wife will come up and poke me like, "It's 3 a.m. Get to bed." Oh shit! I gotta get Arena Reset done.
You guys
So
neck hurt if you fall asleep in your fucking chair? Like, I don't even know how. Like,
no, bro, because I invested in my equipment. Like, I'm comfortable
He says-
right now.
Oh, he says, I lean back, I throw the feet up. We napping, bitch.
Exactly, Nacho. It's exactly how it's done.
Fucking hell. I could fall asleep in my chair if I lean back in this thing, for sure. But if I'm not leaning back, oh, my neck gonna hurt so bad.
All right, Gestal, what about you? How many hours a day do you spend on this game?
I mean, well, I stream it 4 hours a day at least, so there's definitely 4 hours there. Like I would say, like, in terms of like actual, like, outside of streaming, actual time where I sit and like play the game, not a whole lot. Like, it's normally just on auto runs or, doing something like that. So yeah, I mean, 4 hours a day, I guess.
Okay, Nacho, what about you?
1 hour a day. 50
That's-
hours a month.
That is
is
What?
the game requires out of me. It's 50 hours a month.
yeah.
I
We're
choose
not
to
saying.
play-
Okay.
I choose to play Hydra Extra and be perfectionist about my keys and things of that nature. So I wouldn't include that into required game time to complain about, because I'm playing the game as an enjoyment. Like, if I'm spending extra time on my hobby, that's not a time sink. That's not extra time required out of me whatsoever. The game takes me an hour a day. I've made a video about it. Like, it doesn't take that much fucking time, to be honest. So the only variable at this point in time is how long Hydra Clash is going to take me and how nitpicky I want to be on my key. That's all it is.
Okay. I mean, the question was how many hours you spend, not how many hours you have to spend. But okay,
Hour a day.
an hour a day. Okay. So
And I do it every fucking day on my stream, and then I'm sitting there twiddling my thumbs. Like, anybody need to take over? What's going on? Like,
okay. So for myself, I'm usually, I want to say, about 4 hours in the afternoon and probably about an hour in the morning trying to get all my accounts situated with Clan Boss and everything. So I definitely say at least 5 a day, right? It kind of feels back to my World of Warcraft days where it was a full-time job. Now,
Just curious. You say clan boss. What are you running for clan boss? I hit one key and just auto run it.
I run 5 accounts right now.
Oh jeez.
5 accounts that are all endgame account, or well, 4 of them are endgame accounts. But yeah, I run 5 accounts. All right, let's we're coming up to this end of Emic Fusion, right? Or not Emic, sorry, Timid. And we're gonna be getting another fusion soon. I'm guessing we'll find out. This one ends during CBC, so give it maybe 10 days. Plarium likes to keep us on our toes every 2 weeks. Now, I asked you guys to come up with a suggestion for what we can tell Plarium they need, or we need as a community, for a fusion champion. And the first question is going to be, what faction should it be? And I'm going to throw this to Nacho first. Nacho, the next fusion, what faction should we have it for?
Oh, Sylvans. They still need champions. Sylvans or Ogren, I'm gonna go with. I think
Okay.
Ogren would be a really good solid one. They still need some really sound Legos. As far as kits go, AoE decrease speed and AoE block buffs all in one champ. Please. Thank you. 100%.
Okay.
Put Leech in there too. Sounds good.
And decreased defense.
And decreased
Okay.
defense. You know what I mean? Like, throw anything else in there. You know, like, but those two abilities specifically are one of the hardest things to do in Hydra. Block buff options are pretty shit. Decreased speed options are pretty shit. You have it as far as volume goes. So you have it's like decreased speed. You're talking about Kimmy, Nekmo, half-ass Krisk. Like his A1 is so terrible, and Licks. You know what I mean?
Cybele.
Like Cybele, sort of. Like she's not very prevalent in big key damage. Two Hanorak doesn't have it because it's on an A1 and it's in a single target. You know, there's all as far as like pushing huge damage out of Hydra. There's very limited options, and the block buff options, those are even more limited. I mean, you have Wukong. Pinthroy is kind of okay, but most people are just going to use Ugo over Pinthroy. Now we have Ukko. The only problem with Ukko is he can't block buff the one fucking head that you need block buffs on the most, Wrath. Because Wrath has the passive that puts the rage on him that's a protected buff, and then he gets the spawn buff, and then he gets poison clouds, and it's so hard to put block buffs on him specifically with Ukko. It's just like the options we have are garbage for block buffs, honestly. To Hanorok, she's so random. Like Gestal understands this now. I rate her as a C tier champion, and I will stand on this hill and fucking die because of how inconsistent she is. Sure, you can do really big keys with her, but she is one of the most annoying Hydra champions to work with. You have to make so many like, oh well, do I do it here? Do I do it there? Like, what is the lesser of two evils kind of thing all the time with her. So I would love better block buff options, and if they could throw in a Tuhana Rock passive, even better.
Okay.
So.
Okay. We'll get to the skill kit, but we'll Gestal, what about you? What faction would you want to see the next fusion in?
I was actually thinking Demon Spawn, man. I can't remember the last time we got a new Demon Spawn champ. I feel like it's been forever. Who?
Heffrak?
Heffrak wasn't a fusion.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man.
Helicath was a fusion.
Helicath, yeah.
Yeah, that's over a year ago, though. I'm just saying, like, new champs in general. I mean, not, I guess, specific to fusions, but I just feel like they've been left out recently. So I was thinking Demon Spawn.
Nice.
Okay. Demon Spawn.
Yeah, they're kind of like a weird faction, right? Like, they could do so many weird things with Demon Spawn, so, like, they could come up with something cool.
Okay. Mr. BS, what about you? What should the new fusion be? Which faction?
Maybe I'd say Silver Watchers or possibly Demon Spawn would be cool because they're lacking some decreased defense people and stuff like that.
Hey, they got Gorlos. He's good. Gorlos has got decreased
Other
defense.
than Gorlos.
So does Cyssia. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just talking to Epic Champion, but Cyssia does bring a decreased defense in weekend, so not a lot of options.
Sure.
But
if I had her.
Okay. So myself, I would really, and I know we haven't had one in a while, but I would definitely say Ogryn Tribe needs some love. I would love to see the next fusion be an Ogryn Tribe champion. And, in specific, we're going to get into the reasoning why after, but what affinity should it be? Obviously, we know Void is going to be out of the question because we just had Emek. But what would you guys suggest for an affinity? Let's go with who looks bored right there? Let's go with Mr. BS.
Looks bored.
What affinity should the new fusion be?
I'd say possibly force.
Force. Okay.
Or no, maybe spirit.
Spirit.
We don't have spirit much.
Okay. Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Yeah, I guess it really all depends what kind of champ it would be. It would kind of make me decide what affinity I would like it to be. But
Is it a nuker support? You know what I mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
where do I need what?
Well, that's why I asked everybody to, I sent the questions of what we were going to ask. So to kind of get your, you said demon spawn is something you were thinking of. So what would the demon spawn need for an affinity? We do have a lot of spirit.
If it was a nuker, I would probably want it to be magic or spirit because like they got the candy. I guess I'd want it to be spirit. If it's a nuker, if it's like more of a support type champ, I would prefer it be probably magic.
Okay.
Because what Dutchie's got, she's spirit.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess depends what class it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a broad question.
Yeah. That's why I asked. I said, think about the champion overall, and then I gave specific questions about kits and that stuff. So, Nacho, what about you? What you said Sylvan Watchers. What are we talking about for affinity here? What do the Sylvan Watchers need right now?
Not fucking force, please. The whole arena meta especially has shifted to force so heavily, it's disgusting. Like, we need to not do more force champions, please. Please. Just anything besides force. I think I'd lean more towards spirit, because force is so prevalent, actually. But as far as Hydra goes, that's it. Which is like where I'd like the champion to focus. But yeah.
Okay.
Void.
Void.
Can we choose Void?
We could choose
That's
Void.
all I care about these days.
But
Void.
I don't,
Void.
I don't want more voids because I'm looking for a particular champion. So still, I want my +4 CP, and damn, I still haven't had an Acrizia yet. I've got four endgame accounts, and on every one of those accounts, I don't have an Acrizia. So let's not water down the pool until I get one.
Release 7 Void champions next month, please, Plarium. You heard him. 7 of them.
All right, so I'm still sticking with my Organ tribes, and I would love to see a Spirit Affinity champion here. Right, we've got some champions here. We got Gerda that is accessible to everybody who's Force. We don't, not everybody's Ignatius, War Mother, and Biggin aren't really accessible to everybody unless you're stuck behind a hefty wallet. Draw Cool, I believe, was a fusion a long time ago, but I would definitely love to see a Spirit champion coming out of this.
Draco was a fusion like Rhodos was a fusion. So long ago, ain't nobody give a shit.
No. All right. Now we talked about what faction, what affinity, what is the number one thing in the skill kit that is a necessity for the next fusion based on what you guys gave me for answers. Let's go with Gestal first.
Yeah, I mean, Nacho's already said this, but this was what was on my mind, not to steal it from him, but the getting block buffs is key. I mean, even block buffs in live arena is huge, but more specifically, in Hydra, and it is very limiting. Or there's very limited champs out there that can like do it really well. That was definitely going to be my pick. Like an AOE, certainly 100% chance on it. So that's what I would like to see.
So 100% chance of a block debuffs in Demon
Block
Spawn.
buffs.
Block buffs. Block buffs.
Yeah.
Sorry. Block buffs in Demon Spawn. I don't know if there is anybody in Demon Spawn that offers that right now, is there?
There's
I
few
think there
champs in
is.
the game that offer it.
Yeah. Okay. So solid suggestion right there. Nacho, what about you?
So yeah, block buffs is one of the least represented debuffs in the game, other than like decreased resistance, which not many people care about. So
Yeah.
that's definitely one of my top picks. And then decreased speed. But decreased speed as far as bosses go, we have a lot more people that can do it versus bosses because most bosses are single target. You know what I mean? So decreased speed's a little less important, but those two are the top of my list. The options for those two are so poor.
Okay. Mr. BS, what about you? What do you think the champion needs to have for the skill kit?
He does make a point with the block buffs. I agree with that too. Like I've been using mostly Ugo and Uko for the block buffs. For Hydra wise, like it'd be nice to have more block buffs. It would be with like a healing aspect or something to go with it. Not exactly sure on what else though, because maybe decreased attack or provoker. I don't know exactly.
Provoke for Demon Spawn?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the only provoke they have is Drexstar, so I could definitely see that. I could definitely, especially for Hydra, I think that would be solid. So maybe a block buffs and provoke on the A1 could be pretty solid. Could be pretty solid for that faction. So myself, I've been doing a lot of this stuff for the secret rooms and the faction wars, and I'm trying to give budget teams. And when I was doing this faction in specific, what the hell, Plarium? There is no single reviver in this faction. You have Ugo, who is legit just under a condition if she's the only one alive. And I think this is one of the only factions that currently does not have a reviver. Right? Maybe, actually, no. Shadowkin doesn't currently have a reviver as well either. So, but Dwarfs has one, right? Knights Revenant have it. Dark Elves certainly have it. Undead definitely have it. Demon Spawn have it. Every other faction has some sort of reviver, whether it's, a rare or an epic. But Organ Tribe has only Ugo as a condition. So I think we definitely need an Organ Tribe reviver, right? It's definitely overdue for this faction. It's one of the most difficult factions I feel to try to get done. Especially for players, that are free to play or
Shadowkin has a reviver.
Oh, that's right. Zero Brew. That's right. They do have Kinagachi.
And then rare, and then Ogren has a rare. With
which rare?
Hands. What's his name? He has no names. He has no hands. Sorry.
He has no hands.
Yeah, that's what they said. Gear Grinder. Yep, that's the one.
Gear Grinder. Yeah.
He does. Revive
Gear
it at
Grinder?
50% HP and turn meter. Yep. I was gonna say, I know he does. I know there's a reviver in Ogren. I definitely used one.
Revives a dead ally on a 5-turn. Okay. You know what? I didn't even look at him. Not gonna
There's
lie.
not even rares. There's not even rares. He
I
says.
did not even look at it. It said Ogre and Tribe. I was like, okay. I mean, who really looks at Gear Grinder? Come on. I looked at Bellower. I looked at, some of the other ones out there, and I was like, But I guess Gear Grinder does come in, as a single turn reviver. But I feel like they definitely need a little more love with the revivers in this faction. So now
Gear Grinder's sexy. What do you mean?
Now, what do you guys think they should be? Should they be attack based, HP based, defense based? Let's go with Nacho first.
Defense based.
Defense.
Definitely. Defense based are my favorite champions in the game, basically, because they're so tanky. Like in PvE content, if you want to build a nuker, he's never gonna die. You know what I mean? HP champions, it's not always the case in PvE. Sometimes you gotta buff up their defense because they have 1800 defense and stuff like that. But it's almost never the case with defense champions. You almost never have to buff their HP up. So definitely defense.
Okay. Gestal, what about you?
Well, I was going to say HP. That's going to sound sound bad after all the stuff Nacho just said, but I like HP-based champs. Obviously, with the defense-based champs, you actually can increase their defense with the buff. And there's only that one new champ with the passive that will boost up HP. Ally max HP. I don't know. I like HP champs, so I'll say HP.
Okay. I definitely can agree with that. I mean, defense champs, you can only build after, the 4,200 mark, unless they're a nuker, you have a lot of diminishing returns. With the HP, doesn't really, there's not a lot of diminishing returns with that. But let's go ahead with Mr. BS. What about you? What do you think? You said
you could just do all three, like with like Grizia. Oh no, and I'll joke. Defense
base,
probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tired of attack because I keep on getting nukers.
Yeah, I definitely think we have enough nukers. You're right on that. We don't need any more nukers for fusions, at least not for the rest of the year, right? But I'm going to have to side with the Gestal here because, like I said, 4,200 is usually the sweet spot of what you want to hit. There's a lot of diminishing returns unless they are a nuker. So if they're built as a pure tank, after 4,200, you're not getting as much as you would with HP, right? So I definitely would love to see an HP-based nuker. And I can't see Nacho's face right now, but I feel like he's got something he wants to say. Am I wrong?
He always has something to say.
I mean, so the thing, I guess, if you really want to talk about it, because I didn't, but we can get into it, sir.
Hey, listen, if we don't get into it at least once a stream, it's not a Knights of Teleria stream, my man. So let's go.
Exactly. So the one advantage defense champions have that even if you put them in HP stuff, they have higher defense than HP champions have defense when you put them in HP stuff.
Okay.
So you have to scale your defense higher in HP champions than you have to scale your HP on defense champions.
Okay. Again, though, 4,200 is the max, and I'm pretty sure I could build as an endgame player because we're going to talk about endgame players right now.
Show me your Asuga.
I don't have an Asuga on this account.
Show me your Artak then.
My Artak?
Yeah.
Let's see. Built with his passive, he is well above what he needs to be. He's at 3,400 defense, 82k HP.
3,400 defense, correct. So to scale his defense to 4,200 to reach true mitigation cap, as an HP champion that has 22k HP and 1,100 defense, you would have to divert more away from your HP to achieve that, is my point.
I could, do a lot more.
You would drop down to like 75k HP to reach damage mitigation cap on your defense.
Nah, I don't think so. If I +1 and +2
I guarantee.
I
Guarantee. Even with empowerment, you don't gain that much defense, dude. My +4 Valkyrie, who has one of the highest defenses in the game, it's 1,600 defense. She gained 630 from empowerment. Like you will get like 150 defense on an R tag.
okay, 600. If I +2 them, you get what? What is it? 20%, isn't it? Because you get 10%.
That's at a 16. That's at a 1,600 base champion. Artak has 1,100.
Okay, but then Artak's
you would gain 220.
Artak's passive gets 1% for each one.
This is it doesn't matter. The whole point of the conversation is that HP champions, you have to scale their defense higher because their defense base is trash. Meanwhile, defense champions, if you put them in HP gear, or just naturally have higher base defense. So they just get higher defense and you don't have to take away from the build. And this is represented by your Artak. It doesn't matter what his passive is.
That's great, but what good is your defense going to do against maybe Shamael?
Okay,
right?
Like Shamael dies to a whole bunch of things. Even champions like Rhodos, when you're ignoring half of their defense, that you still have half of your defense left. Okay, you can reduce damage significantly, especially if you don't have to build extra for it. Is my point.
Okay, but how much? I mean, most arena champions need to be built with a minimum of like,
they're not ignoring 100% defense is my point. You have people building 5,500 defense on Duchesses. That's why they're so fucking tanky when you hit them with your Rhodos.
I could easily one-shot one of those Duchesses with the Shamael.
Okay, cool. In a perfect situation, I could do a lot of things too.
Just saying, I feel that defense-based champions...
There's only one there's like 2 champions in the entire game that ignore complete defense.
Your Taras does pure damage.
He does not. Where does Taras do pure damage?
Based off the buffs. I can one-shot my Harima. I can one-shot Harimas with this.
That does not mean you're doing pure damage. That's not what that means, okay? And you're detracting from the whole point of the conversation, which is scaling defense champions better than HP champions. That you can take less from your build by using a defense champion and scaling HP on them than you can an HP champion and scaling defense up to a reasonable amount. 3,000 defense champions fall over an arena. That's a fact. Like, you're not going to build a Duchess with 3,000 defense.
No, guaranteed not. The minimum I would need is 4,000. 4,200 is the minimum.
So when you use an HP champion, you have to build more defense than you would have had to build HP on a defense champion. This is the point.
I don't think so. I think anything over
Duchess
4,200
is a defense champion, dude. Are you kidding me?
This is my Duchess right now. 42k, 100k HP.
What is her base defense?
Her base defense is 1,200. 1,300. She's got 100 more than Artak.
Right? Yeah, that's significant. Like, it's very significant.
That's a glyph. That's too...
No, it's not. 100, you do not get 100. No glyph in the entire game gives 100 of fucking anything.
If you have an 8% glyph, 8% of 1,200 is what? Exactly.
Yeah. On an 8. On is specifically an 8, right?
Yeah. Even at 7, it's still close enough.
That's my point. Like, the base of a champion matters, though. That's for every single glyph, you gain that much more.
Right.
Like,
but does it serve a purpose to go after that without the HP? What good would a 6k Duchess be to me if she was at like 70k HP? That's
not the conversation at all, whatsoever. You are changing it just to fit your argument.
Okay. That may very well be, but I still think...
That's exactly what's happening, motherfucker.
I still think HP champions skill better than defense by far, just because there is no decreased defense mechanic. There is no ignore or decrease HP mechanic.
Defense.
There's no decrease HP mechanic. Okay.
There is. There is decreased max HP. Actually, people are using Life Harvest left and right now.
Yes. Okay. But there's a counter to that.
Which now, Marichka. That's it.
Maybe.
Not maybe. Not maybe. That's
Maybe.
not a maybe. Not even fucking close is that a maybe. That is a yes, it fucking is the answer. That's the only thing you can do.
I mean, for her passive, yes. For her
That is
passive.
the only thing you can do. So when you get your max HP destroyed by 40% on your first revive, which has higher value? Defense or HP? Defense.
It really depends against the champion you're going with. Again,
No, because if you lost 40% of your HP, you need to have defense to stay alive with 60k HP.
what's good? What's 6k defense gonna do to me if I'm stuck at like 35k HP?
Never said 6k defense. You
Whatever.
need to build more than 3,000 defense is my point.
Okay, I'm saying 4200 is the spot. So
Right,
trying
and
to get to the
more
4200
easily do
spot is easy.
On
Almost
a defense
endgame.
champion.
Even
On
on
a
an HP,
defense-
even on an
How many
HP based champion.
your Taurus isn't 4,000 defense. What HP champions are you using? What's your Pythion at? How much defense is your Pythion
I
at?
don't even think I built my Pythion, to be honest.
How much HP does your Elva have? How much defense does your Siphi have? Like, I'm telling you right now, the HP champions hit the defense cap significantly
Siphi?
less than fucking
My
HP
Sifi's
champions.
sitting at 4200 with 110k roughly.
Right. What's her base defense?
Her base defense is 1288, same almost as Duchess.
Right.
Again, the 100 defense that's difference between her and Artak, I can make up with a glyph. I don't buy that argument. I feel
It scales per glyph, though. That's the thing. You're getting more on every percent stat on the build. It's not just one glyph different.
great.
Like, if you have 100 extra base, for every single percent stat on the thing, I'm getting more. Okay?
I would rather have my champions built with 4200k HP based off of HP and get a better HP percentage, getting my Duchess to 120, 130k. Even with the 4200 defense, it gives her more survivability.
Okay, sure, but that's not stat efficient, is what I'm saying. It is more efficient to do it the opposite fucking way. Like, bar none. One of the only champions that breaks that mold is Ursuga, because she has 1,530 base defense with 23k 400 HP. She's one of the tankiest HP champions there is in the fucking game. Okay, she is one of the biggest exceptions to the entire rule. But almost every single HP champion is less efficient to get to survivability cap than defense champions are.
I guess that
fucking you.
we're gonna have to do a little more deep dive in this comment and this subject with between me and you. Just to answer everybody's question, why the CP is that low.
She's in Stone Skin.
Yeah, exactly. She's in Stone Skin, and I very comfortably place in the top 50 with her. So it really depends on the rest of the team that we have. So Stone Skin kind of takes over a little bit on the speed meta right now, or for, speed champions. All right, so we have had a wonderful 2 hours. And as always, it's been a lot of fun, right? But we do require some shout outs. So let's go ahead and let's start with Gestal first. Because I'm going to give Mr. BS a minute here to think of his shout out.
Give a shout out to my man Pogo, who's been on the stream before, but great streamer out there. Go give him a follow, Pogo Pink Tie on the Twitch. Great dude. A lot of fun, man. A lot of fun over on the stream, so go over there, check him out, Pogo Pink Tie.
Okay. Nacho, what about you?
I am going to shout out other usual person, Jarec Gaming. He is trying to become an official content creator, just like me. So he hit them up on Twitter finally, and they gave him a response. So go show him some more love, get him to the requirements that he needs, and yeah.
All right. Mr. BS, shout out, sir.
I'd probably have to go with my friend Risen Deads. He just started streaming Raid on Twitch, and seems like he's doing a lot of live arena content and Hydra content for his Twitch. He's pretty good at knowing what he does. I give him a shout out.
Okay. Ogre, if we get 40 likes, can we watch Battle Slam sleep? I mean, we could set up a camera for maybe OnlyFans, and just have him sleep. Do you drool or snore?
Depends on how tired I am.
Okay.
I don't know about the snoring part. I don't know about that.
These snores going on with that kink in the night.
All right.
You can also do it on what's it called? What's that Twitch thing that they do? Where they just talk. They only talk.
Just chatting. Just chatting.
Oh, just chatting.
Just chatting.
Just chatting. Okay.
Yeah, you can do it on just chatting.
Okay, so you would just do just snapping, right?
Yep.
All right. And yeah, my shoutouts. My shout-out's actually going to go to Jarec Gaming. He is so close, guys, to becoming an official Raid content creator. And, he just needs a little bit of help with the views. He's got the subscribers. He's got to meet that 3,000 viewer thresh mark over the next couple of weeks. So if you got some time, head over to his channel. Watch a couple of minutes of the video. It really, really helps. The algorithm for YouTube, I could sit here and talk hours about it, about how it works and stuff, but he just needs that view and that like to help him get spread and get those views out. So make sure you guys go over, click on his video, watch him, give him a thumbs up, throw a comment on his video, show him some love, and help him get into the content creator. And then our next project will be Nacho. So as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. We will catch you on next week's show of the Knights of Teleria, and hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.